For context for people who are listening, my Spotify bio says that one day I would like to win a Grammy so that I can put googly eyes on it and then, maybe make a thirst trap with it and then the googly eyes can just jiggle around. You know what I'm
You gotta wonder, will I disagree or concur? Because it's deep dive time! Let's go. Mike's on, hot takes ahead, big bombs, bigger brain threads. First play, are you all aboard? Welcome to the track record. Let's have some fun now.
Hello, hello, hello. We have Paxton Smith.
Hello.
Paxton, quickly, if you'd like to introduce yourself to my listeners.
Sure. My name is Paxton Smith. I make alternative pop music. Before I was a musician, I did a lot of activism for the right to access abortion care in America.
And that actually right away gets me to my question number one. In 2021, a lot of people first met you as the valedictorian who gave, it's always mentioned as that graduation speech about abortion rights. Now
Mhm.
they're meeting you as a musician. So, do you think those themes still echo in your songs, or has music opened up new battles and emotions for you?
That's a good question. So, with activism, I always felt the need to be this very perfect person. I feel like people try to discredit activists' work or people who advocate for like certain rights. They try to discredit it if they see any kind of personality flaw or character flaw, or they do an action that they think is irresponsible. So I always felt like I had to be this perfect person everywhere I went, everywhere I presented myself. So that was honestly pretty draining. And then with music, music is kind of was my escape from activism. It was my ability to just be myself, completely raw, all of the parts of me that were ugly but also pretty and contradictory and confusing. I could be anything through my music. So my music, it doesn't necessarily touch on the activist topics because it's kind of an escape for me and it's more exploring imperfect parts of who I am and my life.
That actually makes sense. I mean, I was about to ask you this question if you think that your politics does seep into your music, but if you say that it's completely for escapism reasons, it makes sense.
Mhm.
I mean, we need to have something that separates our thoughts in such a way that it just makes us go spiral into them. So, absolutely makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, though, to be clear, there are definitely songs that do have some activist undertones because the personal is political, political is
Absolutely.
personal. You can't, there's
Absolutely.
like a certain point where you can't separate it. But there's like no intentional activist messaging. It's just like the person in the music.
Absolutely makes sense. Talking about the music, I think every artist has some kind of DNA to their work, something that makes their song unmistakably theirs. So, for you,
Mhm.
what are those fingerprints like? Like, do you put your thoughts into it specifically, or are you just figuring out? Because I want to know when people hear Paxton Smith, what do you hope they instantly recognize?
Oh, that's a good question. The biggest thing is like, I feel like in a lot of my music, I have this airy, kind of gritty tone. It's kind of like Tate McRae meets Artemis, and it's this upbeat pop. So I hope that they recognize that. Sometimes there's like this playfulness and an airiness in my voice. I use a lot of words. I'm very rhythmic. So those are probably my calling cards as a songwriter and as a producer.
Let's get granular on that process. So, when you sit down to write, you said your body, you think about your tones and you think about how it's heard by people being a little bit upbeat. So, when you sit down to write, what usually comes first to you? Perhaps a lyric, a melody, or maybe even just a story or perhaps a song idea that you just feel like, yeah, you need to tell the story. And once you have that spark, how do you build it into a finished track?
It's literally always different. Usually starts with a melodic idea. I'll have something in my head. I'll record it on my phone on voice notes and then I'll revisit it later. But that can manifest as anything. Like it could be the melody of the lyrics, or it could be the melody of a synth part, or it could be like a drum rhythm. And I go just back and forth between starting with producing a track, producing a beat, because I'm a producer, and alternatively starting with just a song. But I usually make one and then the other, and vice versa.
I think a lot of it also comes with this ability to be independent, I'm guessing, because right now you're doing everything by your own. So even though I'm pretty sure it must be so overwhelming because everything is in your hands, but I think there's freedom to that kind of independence as well. Again,
Yeah,
coming from assumptions, so I wanted to hear from you.
no, there definitely is. I think uh the stress comes when you're at a point where skill level where you're lacking and you can't do something at a professional level consistently and quickly. That's like the biggest stressor. But once you kind of get that creative ball rolling and you get better at your craft, then it becomes very, very free and very, very fun. It's nice, especially for me as an artist, because sound design is really important to me. I just like it. It makes me happy. So being able to produce my own music as well as write the lyrics and, place the lyrics on top of them how I hear them in my head, that's really fun for me. And I don't think I would be able to do that if I hadn't spent the time learning how to produce.
And I'm so happy that your thought process also involves how it would be heard by people, how your songs will meet the people in the moment when they meet it. So I absolutely love it when artists do that because yes, it's your story to tell, but it's also a realization perhaps in this day and age that yes, music is a product. It's being heard by other people and it has to meet them at a certain moment. So absolutely love it, especially when they have that kind of cognizance in their process. But going back to your politics, because I see how passionate you are about your music, I also kind of understand that being viral for a particular moment that meant so much to a lot of people can sometimes also feel very like putting yourself into a box kind of situation for from other people's perspective, perhaps even being confined to just that girl who gave the speech. So, do you
Mhm.
feel like audiences right now are allowing you to grow beyond that, or do you still feel like people pin you to that moment? Because in my research, when I was looking you up, more than your music, it was that one speech that came up, which again, very important, but perhaps do you think it's still the background that people talk about when it comes to you?
Uh, I think it's starting to shift a little bit. I think when I first started, yay! I mean, that's not a bad thing to be.
Known for, yeah.
It was important and I gave it for a reason and I mean every word of it. I don't regret it. I think now my audience is giving me the grace to move into that. There's a lot of people who are like, I came for the speech and I stayed for the music. I haven't experienced that in the past before, but because like I released like 3 songs like 2 years ago, and I didn't put as much energy into being an artist as much as I put energy into being a musician. And now I'm really coming out with like visuals and being like, this is who I am and this is my brand and like everything is music and only music. Like I think as soon as I started taking my music seriously at like a higher level, people are now open to it being like, okay, I see that you're a musician and we're excited about that with you. So that's been kind of a fun shift. Of course, there are people leaving and, unfollowing me. Goodbye. That's okay. This is what I'm doing now. And I love the people who are staying and the people who are coming.
I mean, I get it. A lot of times when we put ourselves out there, and given how algorithms work in today's day and age, it's just that expectation that you will remain same, that the niche will not change, so to speak. But people grow up, people have journeys to take on to. So it's kind of sad how it works, but also, as you said, people who stay, they stay for you
Yeah.
as a person. It does get me to my next question. I wanted to talk about the way you're distributing your music now. You're releasing your new EP, but I love it one song at a time. I mean, that's how
Yes.
I see it from an audience perspective. So, beyond the rollout strategy, I'm curious about your sense of music distribution itself. What does releasing in this way let you do as an artist, especially as a new quote unquote artist? And what do you think it changes for listeners in their experience when they meet this music? Do you see each track as a chapter in one big story, or do you see them as like standalone postcards?
First of all, I release music one at a time. First and foremost, because that's just what the algorithm favors. Like on Spotify, that's what the algorithm favors. And on social media, it helps me stay consistent and make sure that when I do release a song, that every song gets a lot of love and a lot of attention. And then also, it helps me just create a consistent story for my fans and for people who follow me. Like, it's not just here's the album for a month and then I disappear. No, it's like every single month, like, here is another side of things, here's another thing. And then for the songs being part of a story, all of the songs are part of my coming of age. The first one is just, it starts with my imposter syndrome and activism. And then, it just progressively goes along. This new one I'm coming out with, it's called Stop. It's coming out on the 26th of September, so soon. That's kind of about like this very confusing on and off again, flirtatious situationship thing. And I'm coming out with a music video for that one too, and that kind of shows a little bit more of my personality beyond just what the lyrics say.
This episode goes out on 26th, by the way. So, like, I will let you have that moment where you talk
Stop
about.
comes out today.
But I specifically asked about distribution because, one, as you said, that you are figuring your sound out, you're trying to be consistent. So, it makes sense. Again, as you said, the algorithm is brutal for folks who don't have that industry support, so to speak. But also because I am also trying to understand how newer artists without industry backing try to get noticed by the general public. Again, my understanding of pop music is, oh, pop girly is someone who necessarily is just always on all the time out there. Everyone is listening to her. She's the cool girl and all the other stereotypes for women who are cool, so to speak, right? So
Mhm.
there's always that pressure of being out there and reaching out to the most of people. So when you think about your audience, are you more focused on your fans because that's how you're rolling out your music? Or are you also thinking about the general public, the casual listener who might convert into a full-time listener, especially when thinking about the money aspect of things?
At this point, I'm thinking about both. I do things to engage with fans. Like I have TikTok lives every single week, and the same people come and we hang out and we talk and get to know each other. I have a Discord, and on the Discord, I, I announce things earlier than on other social media platforms, and I also send like the original demos of songs. And that helps me connect with fans a little better. But then, for everything else, I'm at such an early stage in my career where I should be reaching as many people as possible. So, I generally try to focus on women because I'm a pop girly. So, women in like their 20s. But, other than that, like the doors are open. I'm trying to reach everyone right now.
It gets me to my next question. Your sound blends darker textures with pop accessibility. So, sure, there's that, oh, I can reach out to so many people because it's pop music. But there's this guiltiness, as described it. So, beyond influences, how do you actually shape into that as your own voice? What choices maybe feel the most intentional when you're building this soundscape? From the perspective, oh, this is how I'm reaching out to people.
Okay, for the sound design, this is a fun question, and I didn't think I would get it because people don't usually ask. Honestly, finding my sound took so freaking long. Like, it took so long. Oh my gosh. Because there's so, like, with pop music, you don't have acoustic instruments. There is an infinite amount of acoustic worlds that you can build because it's all like you generate it with synths that are like on the computer. So, some key things that I tend to always use, I use 808 basses. I love like impactful
Boom, boom, boom.
sounds. I have like I like to form and shift things up, and what that basically means is like I take a sound and I kind of chipmunk it a little bit so it sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks, and then I kind of blend that in. I kind of like glitchy sounds. I love sounds of metal hitting things like clang, clang, and crunchy sounds like and static. And I just put it all together. I've been getting into flutes too. So that's like those are like a bunch of the things that I put in my music.
It gives me such joy when I listen to artists talk about their methods, especially producing, because I'm a nerd like that. And I absolutely like, I get into rabbit holes when it comes to producing, especially. I remember I was listening to Jack Antonoff going at it because for him, it's more instinctive than, say, being very specific about, oh, this is where it will go. Whereas then I see the comparison with, say, for example, Max Martin. Max Martin is very like mathematical with his pop music. So whenever I listen to pop folks just breaking down their maths, so to speak, or like their equation, it's so fun because everyone has different,
Yeah.
methodology. So hearing it from you being like, oh, it's the metals that like surprisingly click sometimes. It's how you go. The thing just makes sense. It just kind of makes sense because it adds that flavor to your songs. And I can hear it now when I think about Belong Here, especially, which gets me to Belong Here as a song, how it has taken that journey with you because you were talking about imposter syndrome. You were talking about your activism days, how you felt like an imposter. Now that you're getting into this new industry, I'm assuming a lot of similar feelings might come along the way. So I just wanted to know how the writing process of this specific song really came to be and how you found the soundtrack that did justice to it.
Okay, how the song came to be. I was at a political conference in Washington, D.C. I was invited to be a speaker, and at the point that I had been invited to speak, I was actually like on my way out of activism. After Roe v. Wade got overturned, I I honestly just kind of hit a wall with activism. It was a very draining thing to do, like mentally and emotionally, talking about abortion all the time, hearing about the stories behind why abortion care matters. Like those things genuinely weigh on me a lot. And then when Roe got overturned, knowing how much worse things were going to get for so many people and having seen people's stories in a very intimate way that got shared with me because people tell me why my work mattered to them that don't usually get shared on TV or anything. Like I knew them very intimately and it was hard. Like I just I couldn't do it anymore. Like I needed to take a step back. So at this point that I had been invited, I had kind of just been out of activism for a while, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna get back into it. And so I was like, okay, this is an incredible opportunity. The people who go to this conference are like big in deals, like the biggest. So I'm just gonna say yes and do my best. And I got there and I felt so I mean, everybody there is incredible. Let's be so clear. And that's not me like comparing and being angry and judgy. Like it's like y'all are all so impressive and I just feel, a little bit insecure. Like I don't know as much as you guys. I'm not quite as articulate as you guys and I just don't feel like I belong here. Like I don't feel like like I could feel it like all in my body everywhere. So at the end of the day, after I was done like chit-chatting with everybody there, networking, whatever, I went back up to my room and I was just like, and I got my phone out. I got my phone out and I just started kind of singing my feelings. And that's when the first version of the song got made. And I didn't really touch it for like a year or two. No, like a year. And then I don't know, I just made it. I wanted it to be like electronic pop, kind of like hyper pop, dark, edgy, but also upbeat. And that's what I came up with. So.
Quite relatable. I remember even last night before I slept, I was like, I need to play this song. I felt the urge to play that song, especially because I was finalizing the questions for this very interview. And I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
I don't feel like I belong here. Perhaps I'm just an imposter who's just me yapping her way through things. So
Yeah,
at a personal level, I definitely relate to it. So I can see how it will reach out to masses, absolutely. But
yeah.
it also gives me a great segue in terms of how you spoke about the fact that politics takes so much from you, activism takes so much from you. And as you said, sure, you don't actively like put forth the fact that, oh, you were an activist and you, whatever your personal, inclinations might be. But I personally believe that all art is political, as you said. Politics is personal, personal is politics. But
Hmm.
what I love about your music is the fact that you are actively putting forth the idea that, hey, life is enjoyable. You have to like live your life. So all that fight only sustains if there is a vision after the fight, how I see it. So
Oh,
example,
that's beautiful. That's wow. That should go on the wall or something. Print that out. Put it on some t-shirts. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry I interrupted you.
I think, yeah, that was profound for no good reason.
No, that was great.
Thinking about politics, how we see it in terms of our politicians. I had my, criticism when it comes to Kamala Harris's campaign, but I absolutely loved how she talked about joy, politics of joy. And I think I see it in Zaran Mamdani's campaign right now as well. You've said your EP feels like your own coming of age, as you've just said that as well. How
Mhm.
do you think about joy, growth, or even, playing around as part of your music? I think it is a centerpiece of it as much as I've gathered from you right now. But if you had to have that space right now, that, hey, folks, there's life after fight.
Oh. Oh my gosh, this is a good question, and it's one that I struggle with a lot because I think when I first started working on this EP, it felt like space to explore contradiction and confusion and negativity, but with an upbeat song. I was listening to a lot of music at the time where it was just like, life sucks, I get sad, but it's just a party banger. So that's what I was kind of doing, and I think like now, and I've come out with some songs on the EP, or I've come out with a song on the EP that's pretty positive. There will be more, trust, but I think it's like just now where I'm like, pause. I don't want to sing about negativity anymore. I don't want to sing about like all these things that confuse me. Like there can be contradiction, but I'm accidentally putting myself in like this negative feedback loop where I voice these negative feelings and then I sit in them as I create this song and promote it, and I just live in these negative feelings. So I that kind of comes into with the playing thing that you had, where like I think it's more fun to just play with contradiction than to just sit in the negativity. And I hope that that comes through with my music. And it will come through with this song that's coming out today. So, yeah.
It absolutely does. I mean, I was listening to Middle Class White Trash. I'm like, what is happening? She's cooking here. Middle Class White Trash. That is all the time. Oh my God. Cooking here. She's cooking. Let her cook. And I absolutely love that.
Thank you. That's my favorite one. And
Cadence of it, it just goes da 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 da, and it's so fun. It's so fun.
I know.
Talking about fun, your Spotify bio jokes about winning a Grammy, and then you feeling like, oh, you just have to stick.
Can't believe you read that. That's so funny. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you again. Go ahead.
I'm thorough with my research like that. I think the funnier part was maybe even making a thirst trap with it. I was like, oh my God, where is she going with that? And I absolutely love it. For the record, I absolutely love it. But I do want to ask, how did that come to you? Why did you write that? What does
Oh,
that snapshot really say about you? Because I was so confused. But it made it was so funny to me. I'm like, oh my God, let her go. But yeah, where did that come from?
This is a great question. I don't know where it came from. I was visiting my mom in Texas, in Dallas, and I was asleep and it came to me while I was like halfway between being fully asleep and being awake. And I was just like, I have to write this down. This is incredible. Like imagine. And it was so stupid. I find, okay, this is another thing. And this kind of comes through with this next music video that's gonna come out today. But but I'm not a very serious person, and I know that my activism side does not show that side of me. I'm very serious. Abortion is a serious topic, and like people losing their rights in America is also very serious. There's not a lot of room for, jokes, to be honest. But I'm really not a serious person at all, like ever. Like I take very, very few things seriously. So I just want, that side of myself, like the goofy side, the person who thinks of like just stupid crap all the time, but like thinks it's funny. Like I want that part of me to come through because I mean that's like who I am. Like I don't know.
Goofy goose.
Goofy goober, I guess.
So cute when I read it. I was like, what does she mean? What's the bigger meaning behind it? And then I was like, hey,
There
wait
is
a second. It's just cute and let her be.
It's just dumb. Like one day, for context for people who are listening, my Spotify bio says that one day I would like to win a Grammy so that I can put googly eyes on it and then, maybe make a thirst trap with it and then the googly eyes can just jiggle around. You know what I'm saying? So
I
it's just dumb. It's just dumb and fun. And when I win a Grammy, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
I audibly laughed when I read it for the first time. I dropped my phone. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, this girl is winning a Grammy for sure. That's my
Yes,
manifestation
stop
out there. That's my manifestation out there for the world to listen that, hey, Paxton Smith is getting a Grammy one day for sure.
Thank you. Manif I need all the manifestation.
Oh God. I was thinking, oh, I'll ask a super serious question around it that, hey, it's so funny. Perhaps that's your personality. What is the vision for ahead? And then I was like, hey, maybe it's not that serious as I'm thinking.
It's not. It's not.
And that's why I will not get into the future, but perhaps remain in the present. I've seen that a lot of times when people interview folks, especially artists, it's always like, what next? What next? What next? And I'm like, hey, the girl is just coming out with an EP. Let her be with that. Let's be in the moment. And I let you have the moment to now speak about the song that's coming out today. Oh my God.
Yay! So the song that's coming out today is called Stop. Stop is about this. Uh, Stop is about this on and off again relationship-ish, situationship, flirtationship. It was nothing, but in my head, it was something, and it was something to them. I know it was. I know there was something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tensionship. But ultimately, this person that I had this thing with was not the best person to have a thing with. This particular person is also in the industry. And so we both were kind of like playing with it, but then also both being like, no, probably not, and then coming back. And it was just this very, very fun, like, on and off again thing where it's like, stop, I don't want to stop. If you say it's over, can you stop? Because I don't want to stop. I should stop. We should stop, but don't stop. So that's the song. And it's so fun. It's upbeat, it's bouncy, it's playful. It's just a really good time.
I can't wait to listen to that. Oh my God. And also, canon event. Every girly pop goes through that at this point. I'm guessing our age, especially. What is situationship? What is onanoship? Oh my God, flirtationship. So many ships to say,
Yeah.
I
What
guess.
is this? What's going on?
Many
I
ships to
don't know.
say.
but I like it. So
Can't wait to listen. Everybody, once you're done with this, of course, go listen to the new song right now. Right.
watch the music video.
I've seen the BTS for your Belong Here music video, and oh god, Paxton is thorough. Paxton is thorough with her music, so y'all better listen to it. I'm looking at you.
I'm looking at you too.
Okay, that's all my questions. Oh my God. Thank you
Oh,
so much, Paxton, for doing this. I have all the best wishes for your new music video coming out today. And of course, the EP. Oh my God. I am so excited for it.
yay! Hell yeah! Thank you for having me on.
Of course. Of course.